Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the video. I know it has been a couple weeks since I've posted, and I'm going to talk about why, where I've been, and we're going to check in on my progress learning Vietnamese. So, yes, Atachi, I got your comment. Don't worry, I didn't go anywhere. I am back a couple weeks ago. Everything was going just fine. Video after video each week, and then I got like railroaded by a cold. I was out for like 4 days, like right in the middle of the week. Like I took off work, which is something I never do. And so yeah, I couldn't get the video done. And during that time, I was planning on making the week after's video because I was going to Seattle. So that being said, I went to Seattle for about 6 days. My first time going, and I want to talk a little bit about that. And just kind of as a side note, I know still really new into this channel, and for those of you who've been watching all along, then you know that this channel and this series of videos so far that I've done, it's all about been learning Vietnamese and my progress learning Vietnamese. But I also want to mix in a bit of travel because that's really one of my big passions as well. So my trip to Seattle, first time going, I think I said that, and we did so much without really even trying. I hate really doing like go types of vacationing and types of trips because it doesn't really feel like a vacation. It feels like you're just checking off boxes. But while we were there, we went to Bainbridge Island, which you have to take the ferry there. It takes, I don't know, about 45 minutes on the ferry. And it's super like chill town. We just stayed in the little downtown area right there, right where the ferry lands, and like did a couple of the wineries, ate a couple of the restaurants, shopped at the little stores right there. Just a overall cool like small town vibe. Once you get away from the city like that, that's pretty cool. Other things, we stayed in Ballard, which is like a neighborhood of Seattle. So we stayed in an Airbnb, like the downstairs of a house there, and it was super, like the most sparkling clean Airbnb I've ever stayed in. Heated floors and all that. So definitely A plus with that one. And Wendy, I gotta leave you a review. Airbnb like pings me every day to leave one, but I gotta do that. And Ballard, just cool neighborhood. Once you get outside of the houses, there's a ton of breweries. Breweries on like every single corner. I kid you not. And the two breweries I like the best down in Ballard were Reuben's, or I think it's called Reuben's Brew or Brew House. I think Reuben's, and Stoup. Those were like the two best ones down in Ballard. And we also hit up another brewery over by the locks, like the salmon locks, which you have to check out. That was probably the highlight. One of the highlights of the trip was going to the salmon locks down in Seattle. But the brewery over there, it's called Reuben Family, and that's some of the best beer I've ever had. I would put it on par with like Vale Brewing in Richmond. I felt like they made very similar beers, except for Reuben Family also made a lot of sour beers too. So I had a couple of their sours, had a couple of their IPAs, and I'm so glad we went. It was like our last night there, and we were kind of tired. We were on the way home from like downtown Seattle. We had done the Mariners game, which I'll talk about in a minute, and like done dinner down there. We're kind of tired, and we were driving back. And I was like, oh, we never went to that brewery. And we went. It was like half an hour before they closed. And the place, there were still, a handful of tables in there. And I'm so glad we went. Definitely the best beer that I had there. And that's saying something for Seattle, which I guess they have a ton of great beer. So Reuben Family Brewing, Seattle, definitely check them out if you make it to Seattle. The last thing, Mariners game. So I try to go to a new baseball stadium every year. I'm a huge baseball fan, and Safeco blew me away. I was expecting a nice stadium. I've been told by a bunch of people that it's great. Everything I read online was great, but it was clean. The food was really good. We were in the upper deck, not at the very top, but like the lower part of the upper deck. But something cool about Safeco, I feel like all the seats are kind of pushed forward closer to the field. So it didn't really feel like there was a bad seat in the house. And we felt right on top of all the action. And if you go to Safeco, definitely check out the bullpen area. So it's kind of it's field level, and you're behind the bullpens, and you can watch them warm up. And I mean, you're like 5 feet away from the bullpen pitchers, so that's awesome. Yeah, Seattle. So overall, loved it. Definitely want to go again. I feel like 6 days was a good amount of time to spend there to really like get to know it. I'm sure people can spend much more time there, but I really got the feel of the city. One last thing, like driving around was super easy. So if you kind of have any anxiety about driving in cities or whatnot, like driving through Seattle, piece of cake, especially with Google Maps. Like you'll be fine. Yeah. Okay, so my progress with all this traveling and everything, learning Vietnamese while on the go and getting sick and everything, super difficult. But I have been progressing very slowly every single day. So I've been just taking my one Duolingo lesson a day, if not more, when I can. And yeah, I'm on this one, this questions lesson. This lesson all about learning the different question words, like how much and where and all that stuff. And not gonna lie, it's super difficult. At this point, it's like the most difficult thing that I've had to do in Duolingo. I just might not be getting it, or I just don't feel like it's being taught clearly to me, but I'm powering through it. Hopefully, I can kind of take some of these things and kind of digest them and hopefully, figure it out eventually as I move on and progress through the rest of the lessons. I'm sure I will get back there and figure it all out eventually. But right now, this is super tough. And I kind of want to give a tip, maybe. When you're traveling and you have this like daily habit you're trying to get done, like learning a language, I find it really, really helpful to do it first thing in the morning. Literally before you take a shower or like while the shower's heating up, but you got to do it like before you even leave the house, because when you leave the house, like you don't know what the day brings, and you don't want that weight of still having to do something while you're on vacation, like resting on your mind, like it's going to bug you. So what I did every single morning, like that was like while my wife was still asleep, I'm just laying in bed doing the lessons on there, and I'm so glad I did that. It helped me keep on track. I know, there was definitely mornings where I was like, I don't want to do this, but I'm glad I did. And I think I'm at like 93 days right now. So yeah, still progressing very, very slowly. Maybe next week I'll talk a little bit in Vietnamese. There was one cool thing that happened. I was out with my wife, and we were I wanted to leave, or I wanted to find out if she wanted to leave. And I didn't want to say like, hey, you want to go, or like give her a nudge, because that would have been kind of rude where we were at with the people we were at. So I just asked her, D, which means to go. And she knew what I was talking about, and then she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So then we made our move, said our goodbyes, whatever. But that was super cool. That's one of the main, not one of the main, yeah, it's one of the main reasons why I'm learning Vietnamese, is just to be able to talk to my wife in another language when we're around other people and they not know what we're saying. So yeah, maybe that's weird, but I think that's awesome. So we got a win there. Rewind real quick back to Seattle. If you are into coffee at all, sorry, this is all just firing at me, and I haven't recorded a video in so long, so I'm a little rusty. But if you're in Seattle and you are remotely into coffee, you have to check out the Starbucks Reserve Roastery. It's in downtown Seattle. If you go down there, or if you go to the fish market, it's a pretty quick walk from the fish market. Go to the Starbucks Reserve Roastery. This is different from the first Starbucks. The first Starbucks is down in the fish market. You walk uphill like 0.8 miles, and it's amazing. So they serve, they roast all the coffee there, or most of the coffee there, and there's like different coffee bars. There's an actual like coffee bar where they make alcoholic drinks with the coffee, and then they just have like different like coffee making devices and I probably spent like $150 there. We actually went twice, just between like the different coffee we got, and we brought home coffee, and we got, you know, special mugs and all that stuff. But yes, I highly recommend that. All right, guys, that is it. Atachi, everybody else, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Hopefully I'll be out with a new video each and every week going forward. Hopefully I don't like get sick and, you know, almost die again, and all that. But yeah, let me know if you've been to Seattle. If you have any thoughts about it, about, you know, learning Vietnamese, where you're at with that. And otherwise, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. And I'll see you next week. All right. See ya.